Thank you, everyone. I'm happy to introduce today Mladen, cardiologist, very smart and very genius guy from the Sweden. And Mladen, thank you so much for this opportunity to talk with you and to get your opinion on all different aspects of the heart attack problem. And feel free to share and introduce yourself for our audience. And just for the context, this will be our volunteers, this will be regular people, business, people who involved in all this medical area. Yeah,
Okay.
Mladen.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me for this great interview. My name is Dr. Mladen, and I'm consultant cardiologist in Sweden and also in the UK. So I'm virtually working with any kind of heart problems. And I have quite a broad international background, which is why I found it very interesting to join you for this interview today.
Thank you, Mladen. It's I'm very curious about all questions which we want to discuss today. And first of all, let's start from a general question. Why you choose the medicine area? Why you don't choose? How it was, and could you share some thoughts from your?
Sure, definitely. So I've always been interested in kind of caring for other people, and I saw myself always as some kind of care provider, and as such one, I've always wanted to choose a career where I would be able to help somebody else, and naturally that somehow would be medicine as a career that I would choose. Then obviously there are many other careers that you can choose and help other people, but somehow I thought that medicine is a combination of really having a good professional background, but also needing to care for other people. So quite early I started with volunteer work for Red Cross in Sweden and other NGOs, for instance. And that was the way where I discovered that I would like to work in medicine. So kind of already at high school, I started on that pathway, developing myself and obtaining knowledge and experiences that would lead me further on for medical education.
Awesome. And you mentioned about studying in high school. Why did you choose Lund University? And what options you had if you had? Yeah.
Yes, Lund University is in the very south of Sweden, and it's a great university. It's a small town which could be similar to, for instance, Cambridge and the Boston area, or Cambridge in the UK, for instance. So it's really a university city, and it's having a great reputation for student life. So that's why I wanted to come to a student university where I could join other students just coming from all other parts of Sweden, and not really living there from the first beginning. Like, it's the case in many big cities that people often live there from the first beginning, and perhaps they stay there and then they have a particular background, and perhaps they don't mix in the same way like at in the university city. So that was the reason why I was keen on choosing um, a university city, and Lund is one of two university cities in Sweden. So that was why I wanted to choose it, and it's also having a great international reputation. Yeah.
Oh, in other words, you choose this because this is actually a small town which focusing on education, and around this town you are working, talking, and everything is circling about around the education, right?
Yeah,
And
that's right.
this is
And
advantage, huge advantage that when you have in big city you have several university, but There are a lot of businesses, a lot of thoughts, ideas. In a small town, you are focusing on what you want to achieve in terms of education, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And at university cities, like in many other countries, you have those student associations where you join other students and then you join many of the local activities. You develop yourself together with other people. So it's really great student life that you can just enjoy once in a similar way when you're really young.
Yeah. I got it. All this student life and all this
Yeah.
spirit, and that's cool. That's cool. And some words about medical system. What do you think? Is it room for improvement? How to make it better, not only in Sweden but probably in worldwide? Your thoughts on this? And
Generally.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, there are definitely some great potentials to develop medicine and healthcare organizations around the world. Obviously, that's a bit kind of also different cultures have different perspectives of what they require as a healthcare provision. And obviously, the healthcare system has to be accommodated to particular culture or particular parts of the world. So I'm not really sure that there is a universal system that could fit
Hmm.
everybody, but most probably there could be one particular system that is applicable in the US or other in Europe or a third one in Asia. Everything depends naturally on the culture itself. And as such, I do see that there are potentials to develop healthcare systems, obviously, because the world is also moving forward. Technology is moving forward. Everything is developing, and as such, a lot of things are nowadays going online. And in that particular way, there are some great potentials to develop and to develop everywhere because most probably technology is more or less developing everywhere in the same way. And I see the same kind of tendencies in development of medicine in the US or in Europe or some other parts of the world where technology is really taking over and is playing a great part of the healthcare system. So that's a unique opportunity to develop those systems in the future, definitely, yes.
In other words, there is no silver bullet which will work in India, Asia, United States, Europe, and your approach that it will be better to make some unique, specific university for unique culture and use some specific of the culture to achieve the as higher as possible results, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And currently, I'm just looking at some healthcare systems from the US, like Cleveland Clinic, and they have really done
Oh yeah,
great
this is a very
development. Yeah, correct, isn't it? So they've really done great development both in the US, but also they are looking for international perspectives. So they have established themselves in Abu Dhabi and nowadays in London too. But what they are doing, they are also trying to accommodate to those local nationalities or those local parts of the world. But then they are, on the other hand, also trying to coordinate cooperation between different sides of Cleveland Clinic. So that's also great opportunity for the future to see potentials in other parts, but then also to try to combine collaboration between different parts, even though you may be working a bit slightly different in different parts of the world.
got it. Okay, and you have a great background in medical area, but I want to notice that you have a participation in studies at Warwick Business School. How
That's
it
correct.
was, and yeah, what was the move on this? Could you explain?
So I've just started studying at the Warwick Business School this year, executive diploma, which is a postgraduate diploma, and it's a great school. It's one of the four business schools in the world focusing on online business education. and it's ranked by Financial Times, which is obviously one of the UK's most popular financial newspapers. It's ranked the fourth in the whole world, which is really great. And they are having kind of mantra that they are educating the change makers, which really feels great because you're meeting other people that are coming from other parts of the world, but we are all somehow trying to combine or different backgrounds and backgrounds from different businesses in order to be able to develop ourselves and to make change in the business area, and in my particular case in the business area of the healthcare systems. So it's really a great school. And I'm traveling to London a couple of times a year, and at the end, the whole education will be resulting in the Master of Business and Administration. So, which makes it great that it's London. London is an international place, and there are actually students from Canada, from US, from China, from Africa. So it makes a great combination.
Yeah, London actually, this is a financial center of the world, and it's very easy for the any immigrants from different place work in London. And I'm sure that in terms of medicine area, in terms of business collaboration, this is a great place. And we started talking about business, and actually, you have a unique combination of the knowledge and skills. On one hand, you cardiology guru, right? On another side, you understand how business works. And actually, what the difference to be a cardiologist and a CEO of the Cardio Group Incorporated?
Yes, that's correct. So
Yeah.
that's a great question. I'm working clinically, but then somehow I'm trying to find new ways to develop myself. And I established a company, which is the one I'm CEO of, and that's why I also started to study business in order to be able to incorporate new skills within business and finance into my medical field, and to combine everything on the other hand in order to be able to enhance in the field of development of healthcare systems and development in the field of cardiology. There is a lot of things coming on in the field of cardiology, like artificial intelligence, three-dimensional ECG, and you do have to have background in business and finance and knowing all the rules within different kind of sectors, businesses, and also the rules, governmental rules, that so you know how to implement new technologies in a particular country or in a particular region of the world. And that's also what business school gives me a great opportunity to learn not only business, but also the way what is the law saying, how can you go in order to be able to gain applications and approval to establish some new technologies in some particular parts of the world. So and as such, a part of my clinical skills working every day, I'm a part of that, trying to collaborate with many colleagues from around the world in order to be able, right, to develop those technologies and to see where could we go on in order to establish, for instance, three-dimensional ECG technology in order to be able to find heart diseases in the right time point of somebody's life circle in order to prevent the disease for the future. So that's a combination actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I like this word combination. I know that in science, the great I discovered the great things happens when the, for example, two absolutely different area touch each other in terms of science. And it's how you have on one hand cardiology, on the other hand you have a business, and this is a, I believe that this is a very, very strong combination and magic, and understanding how the world works, how the medicine area can be.
That's correct. That's correct, Alex. And I do have many role models and I do have many mentors. So obviously, I do work hard, but I also do need to have role models and mentors that have already done a similar kind of work in order to be able to actually accelerate in my career. So many role models come also from the US, from technologies in the US. So it's a great way to start developing yourself, and you just need to develop yourself all the time in order to be able to find some new fun on the way of development.
Yeah, thank you for this. And you mentioned about your interest and your experience in ECG and other things with heart attack. But generally, maybe this is a silly question for you as a professional. Why do so many people have problems with heart disease? Your personal thoughts, according to your experience, according to your knowledge, according to your business involvement, and all these things. What do you think about this?
First of all, there are no silly questions. So you are just more than welcome to ask any
Thank you. Thank
questions.
you.
So yeah, I do think that as the world is developing, we are also moving again more to the technological approach, and I do think that that makes us also less movable. Generally, people don't move as much as they perhaps did it earlier, and in that case, they are more prone to develop comorbidities like diabetes or high blood pressure, and that are always often and always the cases that I find with my patients that will develop heart disease with time. So I do think that we do need to focus a bit more on preventing heart disease by simply, just encouraging people in broader population to move more, to think about those simple things that healthy lifestyle is actually is a great way to prevent disease, any kind of disease, but particular heart disease. So that's the reason why we are seeing more and more people with heart disease, simply because we are not actually talking so much nowadays about the prevention, as we are focusing on the core itself of medicine to actually treat all patients, but we also need to care about them in right time, to prevent from early stage of life, to encourage movement and healthy lifestyles. And that's just everywhere in the world. Wherever I travel, I see just people needing more encouragement, that the basic life skills are actually
Yeah.
the ones that prevent diseases.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your thoughts on this. And
So
actually, this is a price which we are paying for our progress. We have a cars, we have a technology, laptops, and another things. But this is a price which we pay for this liking of the mobility. And if I don't know, 100 years ago, to go to the Sweden, I should to go with I don't know, with a train or with my foods, and it will be not easy. It will be a really journey. Right now,
yeah,
no problem. One flight, one taxi, Uber, and other things, and hotel. I don't need walk too much, right? And this is a price of
yeah,
our
that's correct.
progress. Okay.
Yeah, and thanks God there is the progress in technology. But just try to. I just think myself. Okay, I try to encourage myself. Today I have to go out. I have to walk for 45 minutes. I can listen to a good audiobook, or I can listen to some music, or do whatever I want to do along as I just also try to walk. So just simple things do the
Yeah,
difference.
yeah, thank you. And you mentioned that you have experience and you understanding of the different place of the our planet, Sweden, United States, for sure Europe, and maybe some kind of part of the another place. Let's deep dive on what's going on in Sweden from your perspective, and what's the specific of the Sweden from the cultural point of view, or maybe from some another healthcare system, operations, things, or business involvement uh, from for heart attack problem. What's your
Perspective,
thing?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but well, I do think that we are in a way not that different from other parts of the world still, because we are living pretty much the same way of life here in Sweden, like our fellows in the US or in the UK, or in China or Australia. Um, so pretty much it's the same way of living life here too. But I may think that obviously, if we would have had better weather, like a simple thing,
Yeah, yeah.
like a simple thing, obviously, I do think that people would move more, and especially all the citizens, they are not really able to go out so much in in bad weather, obviously, like everywhere else in the US. Then that's must probably the same in the US. People in Florida or in California would move much more perhaps than people in Ohio
Yeah.
in certain parts of the year. So it's the same here too. But obviously we are having longer winters here than other parts of Europe, and that prevent many of our patients to really accommodate and to have those simple healthy lifestyles, like moving around and walking daily. So obviously with that we are seeing more and more heart disease in even younger populations nowadays, because
Mhm.
obviously they are obtaining all those different risks that won't prevent heart disease, like diabetes. So those are pretty much similar, I would say in the US, those risks here, and tendencies in Sweden, like in the US. Does that
Yeah,
make sense?
it's absolutely makes sense,
Yeah.
and you are not the first from the serious medical world person who said that right now we see this trend shifting from the seniority age risk and this shifting to the young and younger population, when the people in 30 and they 35 they have a same problem as people have in their, I don't know, 55 years old and 60.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, and next question will be just like observation, your observation and your thoughts. Why do some countries less struggle with heart attack and another more struggle? Because I made my own research, and sometimes there is some simple question. Oh, there are no government involvement in this, or there are no money, or healthcare system broken. But I realized that it's not so simple answer, that resources not means that the statistics of the heart attacks so like direct dependent on the, sometimes there is some surprises in different in some regions of the country. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on this?
Yeah, that's correct, Alex. And I do agree that even though you may have resources to allocate in order to prevent diseases, still that could be hard to applicate to broader population out of must probably many reasons, and I do think that even in Europe you can see differences in different parts of Europe. Certainly for Europe, I would think that must probably all healthcare systems are more or less state owned and more or less pretty much similar in different parts of Europe and certainly of the EU. But still, even there are similarities in the healthcare systems, and even though we can allocate resources to prevent diseases, you can simply see that in certain parts of Europe people would live longer, and must probably I would think that that is the reason could be that there are cultural differences still within even Europe itself, making it harder for some to really prevent disease in comparison with other parts. Like in Italy, Italians are always like Italians. They like to
Yeah,
tell about the Italian background and their family background. They are having big families, and they are obviously applying those simple rules of eating a lot of Mediterranean food, which makes and is actually there are studies that Mediterranean food is a good indicator for preventing heart disease. So that's must probably the reason why in some parts of Europe those simple things are still living in those parts in comparison with the other parts of Europe, like in
yeah,
Italy versus Sweden.
yeah. Thank you so much for sharing this example with Italy. And I remember during the COVID, it was a discussion about Italy culture, and one of the factor spreading COVID so much in Italy was cultural factor, because
Right.
people they don't they live with big families. It's a very traditional, and it's very they often meet each other, and it's very difficult to say for grandpa or for grandma, oh, there is a COVID and we we should just stay
Yeah.
away. It doesn't work in this way, because we are all humans. And speaking of this, what do you think, how does COVID influence the heart failure? What do you think?
Oh, there has been some great studies and results of those showing how heart is influenced by COVID-19 and obviously with regards to the heart failure, heart is a small organ, and it's actually very innervated organ that will feel a lot around itself. So if you obviously have lung issues and lung problems, obviously that could put some pressure on the heart and
Mm,
making it developing heart failure indirectly, because you have other systems that are not really working properly. So heart is kind of feeling everything that is around it. So even though obviously there are results showing that heart itself can strike with regards to COVID-19. It's also influenced by other organ systems, and obviously working on yeah treating pulmonary infection could help decrease any other risks factor on the heart itself. So I do think that COVID-19 is really it's really a disease that is making many organ systems influenced. So you do still have to think about different systems to really treat it, and thereby to optimize your heart function itself.
yeah, I read that during the COVID, one of the recommendation of World Health Organization for the physicians around the world was to make medication to have a, this to make blood more liquid. Yeah.
Yeah.
That don't have this strikes and other things in our blood system. And it's a very interesting topic, how our heart direct or dependent on the lung or another organs, and everything is connected in our body, and it's impossible to be very good in one things and exclude yourself from heart attack risk, and to be unhealthy in another way. I don't know about lungs or maybe and other organs which are very, very dependent on how our body works.
Yes, that's correct, Alex, and that's why we are always nowadays working in teams with other doctors and other care providers in order to be able to assess every kind of issue with regards to the heart. Obviously, myself as doctor, I'm trying to treat heart failure or other heart conditions, but other care providers are equally important part of taking care of patient. Yeah, with regards to moving, with regards to pulmonary disease and other issues that can affect heart. That's correct.
Yeah. And you mentioned that right now we observing this shift from the old ages to the earlier ages with this heart, some kind of heart failures. But what do you think? What will be in the future? What will be in 10 and 20 years with this heart attack problem? Will we all together decrease this, or we will see the new trend and more and more cases? Your thoughts on this? Not predictions, actually.
Right.
Thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always hopeful person, so I'm always trying to think about positive,
Positive. Yeah.
positive things. And obviously, even those we are seeing what we are seeing currently, I do think that technology can enhance prevention of many diseases and thereby also heart disease. You know, Apple Watch is a great example of just trying to find any kind of arrhythmic problems. So I do think that, and I do hope that we can use technologies in the future in order to be able to prevent disease, but also to encourage our population to be able to prevent disease by just knowing those simple rules that they can apply in the everyday life simply.
Yeah. Thank you for your these positive thoughts and for your optimistic approach. And my last question will be: what do you think in the future? You mentioned about some technology. What solution we will have to prevent? This will be a mobile application, or this will be, I don't know, some tool which will I don't know, analyze all information about the people and the heart disease and other things. What do you think? What will be? What it should be? Device, technology, maybe new approach, new philosophy. What it should be?
Oh, that's such a great question, Alex. Yes, I do love it. I do see many potentials, and I do see that many devices can be actually applicable in order to be able to find heart disease at early stages, like artificial intelligence. As I said before, I'm working with a great team of physicians from South Africa actually on a particular development of 3D ECG and application of the artificial intelligence, where you can actually try to find heart disease much earlier than actually all current ECG devices can do that. So I do think
Incredible.
that
It's incredible.
artificial intelligence is the one, and then if you try to apply artificial intelligence in other kind of devices like, yeah, Apple Watch or ultrasounds, where recognition of the current state of heart could be actually compared with a database of people that did at that did develop heart disease at later stage, and in that way to find those ones that you can prevent from the first beginning. So artificial intelligence and
Awesome.
any kind of devices.
In other words, we all together have a lot of work and a lot of interesting things in the future. Thank you for
Yes,
this your
thank you so
optimistic
much.
approach. Yeah, we're on time. And Mladen, thank you so much that you give all your thoughts. Thank you for your positive energy. And I'm sure that in Sweden, very soon will be a little bit warmer, as
Yes.
in California. Yeah, and people
Like,
started walking, moving.
that's
to,
correct.
yeah,
That's correct. I do hope so too. I love the picture in your background of that
thank you.
sun and that great
Yeah,
bridge that I passed actually walking. So thank you so much, guys, for inviting me for the interview today. It was a great pleasure, and I do hope that I did contribute in some way to your goals. Actually,
thank you. Thank you so much, Mladen. And hopefully in the future we will make new interview. Thank you and wish
I
you
would.
all the best. Yeah.
I would hope so. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
and bye from Sweden now.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye bye.